When you look at a salesperson, Zig, what does it take to be a sales superstar today?
I believe number one, integrity is the most important thing in a salesperson's life, because the reputation established years ago is that a salesman is going to tell you things that might or might not be true. And so that's one of the reasons I was always been so careful to never exaggerate, never to oversell, always to follow through on anything I was doing. And when I'm talking to people, I listen carefully, and I'm always kind. I don't care what their thoughts are. I'm always kind to them. I don't ever start an argument.
That's great advice for everyone out there today.
I think it is too. I think, getting along with people is so very, very important. And I've been so fortunate. I've had so many good teachers and people who took an interest in me. I was the 10th of 12 children. I asked my mom one time, I said, "Mom, why so many?" She said, "Well, son, where do you think I should have stopped?" I didn't think after number 9. Now, you can count on that. But I've always had good teachers, people that God placed in my life to guide me through whatever was going on in the economy at that point. Economy changes all the time, but the salesperson should not always be changing. They should be consistent. They should be hardworking. They should be truthful. They should do things that will help somebody else. My favorite quote is, "You can have everything in life you want if you'll just help enough other people get what they want." I'm very convinced that that is an absolute truth.
It's certainly a philosophy we should all have embedded in our core beliefs. I'm wondering, you mentioned integrity. Everyone has a different definition of integrity. Zig, what's your definition of integrity?
My definition is it's truth all the time, in your personal life, your family life, your business life, your neighborhood life. In other words, if you go around being 3 or 4 different people, you're not going to have much of a career, that's for sure. And I've been so grateful. I've not had to solicit a speaking engagement in many, many years, because I built a reputation. People knew they could trust me. Trust is the most important thing in life, in the home, in the business world, in the community, wherever you are. Truth is always fun and very, very important to anybody's career, regardless of what they're doing.
About rainmaking, about sales. These are the things I learned about sales. First thing is, let 100 flowers blossom. This I stole from Chairman Mao, although it's not clear to me he implemented letting 100 flowers blossom. 100 flowers blossoms means that at the start of a company, you'll often see your people who are not your intended customers using your product or service, and they're going to be using it in ways you didn't anticipate. Many entrepreneurs go crazy. My God, the wrong people are buying our products in large quantities. What are we doing wrong? Let's get marketing and sales in here. We need to reposition the product because we know who should buy our product. Well, that's categorically stupid. Fundamentally, when you see this happening, first of all, take the money. Take the money. There's 2 theories in engineering for revising a product. One is you go to the people who aren't buying your product and you ask them, "Why aren't you buying our Macintosh, Mr. Fortune 500 CIO?" And the CIO will say, "You don't have a letter quality printer driver. You don't have Lotus 1, 2, 3. You come back to the lab, you convince Lotus to do it, you get a letter quality printer driver, you go back to the Fortune 500 CIO, you say, "All right, we listened. Now there's a printer driver. Now there's 1, 2, 3. They still won't buy it. They still won't buy it. The other theory in engineering is you go to the people who are buying your product, Mr. Desktop Publishing or Ms. Desktop Publishing. Why are you buying our product? Because it's WYSIWYG, because it's high-resolution printing. So you come back to the labs and you say, wow, people are buying our product to use it for desktop publishing, not spreadsheet, database, and word processing like we intended. And what do they need for desktop publishing system? They need bigger monitors. They need higher resolution printers. They need higher resolution monitors. They need all these things to make desktop publishing better. That's my theory. Fix for who's buying. Ignore the people who are atheists. Atheists are too hard to convert to your religion. Go for agnostics and go for believers. Forget the atheists.
Huge part of being able to increase your closing ratio. They did a study at Harvard of the different levels of sales techniques that were the most in top sales guys in the world and women used versus those that were average. They went through several steps about getting rapport, about understanding the client's needs, about being able to demonstrate the features and benefits of the product, and going through overcoming objections and then closing the sale. And they looked at it, and what was surprising was that the people who were the absolute cream of the cream, the top 1% of the top 1% of salespeople on the planet, did exactly the same steps as those who were average. The difference was that those that were exceptional focused on the first part, which is being able to build rapport, being able to understand the client's needs. In other words, there was a sincere level of appreciation for what the client wanted. The intention that was set, the congruency that was set was, how can I serve you? How can I understand you? Not how can I sell to you? In other words, how can I contribute rather than how can I take? Now here's what's interesting. The people that focused more on that spent far less time on the closing and overcoming objections. It was almost a natural progression of the sale. Those that spent less time on building rapport and understanding the client's needs and creating the relationship of trust based upon a level of sincerity, appreciation, and authenticity of who they were, those that spent less time on that and got through to the sale or got through to trying to close the sale had to spend more time on overcoming objections and closing techniques to make up for a lack of authentic connection and wanting to add value to the client. Does that make sense? You don't have to learn better closing techniques unless you focus on being less than authentic about adding value to the client.
Now, first of all, sales are everything. Are you missing out on making sales because you are not doing the right things? Nothing in business happens until a sale takes place. Without sales, a business would not exist. When you discover how to be successful in sales, this will lead to better business and more money for you and your business. Never assume that just because your product is great that people will buy it. No matter how good a product or service may be, in a competitive market and with customers who are busy and preoccupied with many other things, products and services must ultimately be sold. Someone has to sell the products and services. Without proper marketing, your product will not sell itself. Your sales techniques are therefore essential for the survival and success of any business. Have you ever felt buyer's remorse? The feeling that the product or service that you just bought isn't right for you? Have you ever hesitated to purchase something? We all have. No matter how much a customer likes your product, there's always a certain amount of indecision or hesitation at the point of buying and sometimes afterwards. This indecision can stop the sale if you don't handle it effectively. The job of the professional salesperson is to use their sales techniques to help the customer through this difficult moment of making a decision and into the close of the sale. This ability to get the customer to take action is vital to the entire sales process. Now, if you're trying to sell a high-value item or service, oftentimes more than one meeting is required with a client to make a sale. Most buying decisions for large items are made after the 5th meeting or interaction with the customer. Don't give up. Most sales are closed after the 5th time that the salesperson asks a customer to make a buying decision. Are you asking your customers to buy your product? You must ask the customer to buy what you are selling. Ask the customer to buy just one more time, and your results will often be amazing. Always remember that it is up to you as the salesperson to ask for the sale. If you never ask, it will not happen.
The sales process is basically a sequence of stages that an opportunity goes through as it progresses from a lead to a customer. It essentially establishes a common terminology between business owners, between VPs of sales and managers and reps, so that everybody understands where we are in a particular opportunity. The key to having a sales process is it gives you visibility into where we stand as we pursue the revenue targets for the month or the quota. Without having a well-defined sales process, you're essentially flying blind. You really don't know how you're doing until that month ends and you tally up where you stand. And what a sales process essentially does is it tells us whether or not we're behind or ahead, and if we are behind, it gives us visibility into where things are currently broken so that we can intervene with some strategies that are customized and personalized to that broken stage. really want to do it right at the beginning. Me personally, I made the first 500 dials at HubSpot, and I was working on the sales process from day one. You want to have the sales process set up by the time you hire those first salespeople as a blueprint that they can actually follow and work within. Inbound selling is really around transforming sales to align with the modern buyer. One of the key steps to transforming your sales team to be aligned with inbound sales is to build your sales process not by seller action, but base it on the buying journey and the steps that the buyer goes through when they purchase and evaluate your product. If you build a sales process on that, on how the salesperson can help them become aware of these problems, opportunities, help them discover potential ways to solve them, help them evaluate the short list of solutions, and help them purchase, you're going to achieve better alignment between your sales team and the buyer through every step of the process. The sales process for HubSpot was instrumental to us having the growth that we've had and becoming that, $100, $200 million revenue company. Every single month, we can see not just how a salesperson did against their quota, we can see how they did through every single stage of the sales process. We can see which of the HubSpot salespeople are doing great at every single stage, and we can investigate that and apply it to all the other salespeople on the team. Trying to scale your business without a sales process is like driving in the dark. You need to establish this common terminology for everyone at the company to revolve around, and that's going to be the key to unleashing scalable, predictable revenue growth for your business.